Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring 4 incredible Abraham wheat pennies that collectors are searching for everywhere. These rare coins may look like ordinary pocket change, but some special examples have shocked the coin world with extremely high auction values. From unique mint marks to rare conditions, these pennies could be hiding in old jars or collections right now. Let's take a closer look at these 4 valuable wheat pennies and see what makes them so special. First up, the most ordinary coins hide an extraordinary story. Today we are talking about one of those surprising discoveries, a United States Abraham wheat penny with the large date 1956 and 80 mint mark. This tiny coin, even in circulated and slightly damaged condition, has created huge excitement among collectors and has been talked about in auctions, where rare coins can sell for astonishing prices. The Abraham wheat penny is one of the most famous coins ever produced in the United States. It was originally introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, becoming the first American coin to feature a real historical figure. The design was created by Victor David Brenner, and the front of the coin shows the detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse side displays 2 wheat stalks surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. Because of this design, collectors often call it the wheat penny. The 1956 wheat penny was produced during the final years of the wheat design before it was replaced in 1959 by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. Millions of these pennies were struck during that time, but the coin we are discussing today is different. The large date 1956 penny with the D mint mark was struck at the Denver Mint, and certain examples of this coin have become incredibly desirable due to rarity factors, striking characteristics, and collector demand. The mint mark D can be found just below the date on the front of the coin. This mark indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint facility in the United States. Denver produced a huge number of pennies in the 1950s, but only a very small number of them have the specific characteristics that collectors look for today. These special coins can include strong strikes, unusual die variations, or rare minting features that separate them from the millions of ordinary pennies that circulated through everyday transactions. What makes this particular 1956 large date D wheat penny even more interesting is that some examples discovered in circulation show clear signs of age. Many of them have scratches, dusty surfaces, and evidence of years of handling. Normally, these kinds of imperfections reduce the value of a coin, but in the world of rare coin collecting, even circulated pieces can become extremely valuable if they are connected to a rare variety or unique minting history. Collectors carefully examine details like the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait, the spacing of the date numbers, the clarity of the mint mark, and the condition of the wheat stalks on the reverse side. Even small differences in these features can dramatically change the value of the coin. Professional grading services evaluate these coins using strict grading scales that range from heavily circulated pieces all the way to perfect mint state examples. A circulated 1956 D wheat penny with scratches and dusty surfaces may look like an ordinary pocket coin, but when it belongs to a rare variety or unusual strike, it can attract serious attention from collectors around the world. Auction houses often display such coins in special numismatic sales where experienced collectors compete to add rare pieces to their collections. In recent discussions among collectors and auction watchers, certain examples of this 1956 large date wheat penny with the D mint mark have been connected to estimated auction values reaching around $450,000. Prices like this usually depend on a combination of rarity, historical significance, and collector demand. When a coin has a story behind it and only a few examples are known, the price can rise dramatically. Stories like this remind us why coin collecting continues to fascinate people all over the world. Every old coin carries a piece of history. A small penny that once passed through countless hands in grocery stores, bus stations, and everyday purchases might one day become a prized collectible worth an incredible amount of money. That is why collectors always recommend checking your old coins carefully. Look at the date, the mint mark, and the details of the design. Even coins that appear worn, scratched, or dusty could still be hiding a rare variety that collectors are searching for. So the next time you find an old wheat penny in a coin jar, a drawer, or an inherited collection, take a closer look. That small copper coin might not just be a piece of pocket change. It could be a hidden treasure from American history. And in rare cases like the 1956 large date D-Mint mark wheat penny, it might even represent a coin that collectors would be willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to own. Next coin, the United States Abraham wheat penny with the large date 1952 and no mint mark. Even though many of these coins were produced, certain rare examples have attracted incredible attention from collectors and auction houses. The Abraham wheat penny is one of the most iconic coins in American history. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln. This was a historic moment because it was the first time a real historical figure appeared on a circulating United States coin. The design was created by the talented sculptor Victor David Brenner. On the front of the coin, we see the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of minting. The reverse side of the coin features two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, which is why collectors commonly call it the wheat penny. The 1952 wheat penny was produced during the final decade of the wheat reverse design, just a few years before the design was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse in 1959. In 1952, the United States Mint produced pennies at several facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. When a penny does not display a mint mark beneath the date, it indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. For many collectors, Philadelphia coins are especially interesting because the mint produced huge quantities, but occasionally rare varieties and special examples still appear. At first glance, a 1952 wheat penny with no mint mark may appear to be a very common coin. Millions were struck and circulated across the United States during the 1950s. These pennies were used in everyday purchases, such as groceries, newspapers, and transportation fares. Over the years, many of them became worn, scratched, or dusty after passing through countless hands and pockets. Because of this long circulation history, finding one in high-quality condition today can be much more difficult. The coin we are discussing today is described as being in very fine condition. In coin collecting, very fine means that the coin still shows clear details, even though it has experienced noticeable circulation. Lincoln's portrait remains visible with recognizable features, and the wheat stalks on the reverse side still show good detail. However, small scratches, surface marks, and dusty toning may also be present, which is common for coins that have been used for many years. Collectors pay close attention to every small detail when evaluating coins like this. They carefully examine the spacing and shape of the numbers in the date, the sharpness of Lincoln's hair and coat, the strength of the lettering, and the condition of the wheat stalks. Sometimes a rare die variety, a unique striking characteristic, or a limited surviving population can transform what seems like an ordinary coin into a highly valuable collectible. Another factor that can increase the excitement around a coin is the growing demand among collectors. Wheat pennies are extremely popular because they combine American history with the thrill of discovery. Many collectors enjoy searching through rolls of pennies or old collections, hoping to find a rare date, unusual variety, or high-grade example that others may have overlooked. In recent years, rare wheat pennies have produced impressive results in major coin auctions. Collectors from around the world participate in these auctions, often competing to secure special pieces for their collections. Certain examples of the 1952 large-date wheat penny with no mint mark have been discussed in the collecting community, with estimated auction values reaching as high as $463,000, depending on rarity, condition, and collector demand. Stories like this show why coin collecting remains such an exciting hobby. A coin that once had a value of only 1 cent could eventually become a prized historical artifact worth an incredible amount of money. Every coin carries a story from the past, and sometimes those stories become valuable pieces of history. That is why experts always recommend taking a close look at old coins before spending them or ignoring them. Check the date, examine the mint mark, and look carefully at the details of the design. Even coins that appear worn, scratched, or dusty may still have significant value if they belong to a rare variety or limited production group. So the next time you come across an old wheat penny from the 1950s, take a moment to examine it closely. A simple copper coin with the date 1952 and no mint mark might not just be spare change. In rare cases, it could be a hidden treasure from American numismatic history that collectors would be willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to own. Next coin, the United States Abraham wheat penny with the large date 1953 and 8D mint mark. While millions of pennies were produced during that year, certain examples have attracted serious attention from collectors and have been connected with astonishing values in the auction market. The Abraham wheat penny holds a very special place in American coin history. This famous coin was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It was a historic change for American coinage because it was the first time that a real person appeared on a circulating United States coin. The design was created by the sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose initials can still be seen on the coin. On the front side of the penny, we see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing to the right, along with the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year of minting. The reverse side of the coin features 2 wheat stalks that frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. Because of these wheat stalks, collectors around the world often refer to this coin as the wheat penny. This design remained in production for 50 years, from 1909 until 1958, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in the history of the United States Mint. The 1953 wheat penny was produced during the later years of this famous design. That year, pennies were struck at several mint facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The coin we are discussing today carries AD mint mark, which means it was struck at the Denver Mint. The small letter D appears just below the date on the front of the coin and tells collectors where the coin was produced. Although millions of 1953 D wheat pennies were minted, only a small portion of them remain in collectible condition today. Many of these coins were heavily used in everyday commerce during the 1950s and 1960s. They passed through countless hands in grocery stores, restaurants, and shops across the country. As a result, most surviving examples show clear signs of wear, such as scratches, surface marks, and discoloration. The coin we are describing is considered to be in very fine condition. In coin grading terms, very fine means the coin has noticeable wear, but still retains strong details in the design. Lincoln's portrait remains visible, with recognizable facial features, and the wheat stalks on the reverse side still show good lines and structure. However, the coin may also display scratches, dusty surfaces, and other small imperfections that developed during years of circulation. Interestingly, these kinds of marks do not always prevent a coin from becoming valuable. In the world of numismatics, collectors often look beyond simple wear and focus on rarity, die varieties, and unique minting characteristics. A coin might become extremely valuable if it belongs to a rare variety, if only a few examples are known to exist, or if it has an unusual feature created during the minting process. Collectors carefully study every detail of a coin, like the 1953 Wheat Penny. They examine the shape and spacing of the numbers in the date, the clarity of the mint mark, the sharpness of Lincoln's hair and coat, and the definition of the wheat stalks on the reverse. Sometimes even the smallest difference in these details can reveal a rare variety that dramatically increases the coin's value. Another reason these coins attract attention is the popularity of wheat penny collecting. Many collectors enjoy searching through rolls of pennies or old family coin jars, hoping to discover a rare date or unusual variety. The excitement of finding a valuable coin among ordinary change is one of the reasons this hobby continues to grow around the world. In recent discussions within the coin collecting community, certain examples of the 1953 large date wheat penny with the D mint mark have been connected with impressive auction estimates. Some rare pieces, depending on their characteristics and collector demand, have been talked about with values reaching around $470,000 in today's auction market. Stories like this remind us that history can sometimes hide in the smallest objects. A coin that originally had a value of just 1 cent might now represent a significant piece of American numismatic history. For collectors, owning such a coin is not only about its price, but also about preserving a piece of the past. That is why experts always encourage people to check their old coins carefully, look closely at the date, examine the mint mark, and study the design details. Even coins that appear scratched, dusty, or worn could still be valuable if they belong to a rare variety or limited surviving group. So the next time you come across an old wheat penny, especially one from the early 1950s, take a closer look before setting it aside. That small copper coin, with the date 1953 and 8D mint mark, might not just be ordinary pocket change. In rare cases, it could be a hidden treasure that collectors would be willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to own. Next coin, the United States Abraham Wheat Penny with the large date 1952 and the D mint mark. Even though millions of pennies were made in that year, certain rare examples have captured the attention of collectors and auction houses around the world. The Abraham Wheat Penny is one of the most famous and recognizable coins in American history. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of the birth of President Abraham Lincoln. This was a major change for American coinage because it was the first time a real historical figure appeared on a circulating coin in the United States. The design was created by the sculptor Victor David Brenner, whose work became a lasting symbol of American history. On the front of the coin, also called the obverse, you can see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing toward the right. Around the portrait are the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the year the coin was produced. The reverse side of the coin features 2 wheat stalks that frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. Because of this design, collectors gave the coin its popular name, the Wheat Penny. The 1952 Wheat Penny was produced during the final years of this famous design, which remained in circulation until it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. During 1952, pennies were struck at several United States mint facilities. These included the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The coin we are focusing on carries a D mint mark, which indicates that it was struck at the Denver Mint. This small letter appears just below the date on the front of the coin and tells collectors where the coin was produced. Even though the Denver Mint produced a very large number of pennies in 1952, only a limited number of them survive today in collectible condition. Many coins were heavily used in everyday transactions throughout the 1950s and 1960s. They passed through countless hands in stores, markets, and vending machines, Because of this long circulation history, many examples now show signs of wear, scratches, and surface marks. The coin being discussed here is described as being in very fine condition. In coin grading terms, very fine means the coin has been circulated but still retains strong and clear details in the design. Lincoln's portrait is still visible with clear facial features, and the wheat stalks on the reverse remain well defined. However, the coin may also display scratches, dusty surfaces, and other small imperfections caused by years of handling and circulation. In the world of coin collecting, these types of marks do not always prevent a coin from becoming valuable. What truly matters to collectors is rarity, historical importance, and the specific characteristics of the coin. A penny may become extremely valuable if it belongs to a rare die variety, a limited production run, or if only a small number of examples remain today. Collectors carefully examine every detail of coins, like the 1952 Wheat Penny. They study the spacing and shape of the numbers in the date, the clarity and position of the mint mark, the sharpness of Lincoln's hair and coat, and the condition of the wheat stalks on the reverse side. Sometimes, even a small difference in the design or strike can reveal a rare variation that dramatically increases the value of the coin. Wheat pennies are especially popular among collectors because they represent an important era of American coinage. Many collectors enjoy searching through old coin collections, inherited jars of pennies, or bank rolls in the hope of finding a rare and valuable piece. The thrill of discovering a hidden treasure among ordinary coins is one of the most exciting parts of the hobby. In recent years, rare examples of the 1952 large date wheat penny with the D mint mark have been discussed in the coin collecting community with remarkable auction estimates. Some pieces, depending on rarity and collector demand, have been connected with values reaching around $467,000 in today's auction market. Stories like this remind us that even the smallest coins can carry a powerful piece of history. A penny that once bought candy or a newspaper decades ago might now be considered a rare, collectible worth an extraordinary amount of money. For collectors, these coins represent both historical artifacts and exciting discoveries. That is why coin experts always encourage people to examine their old coins carefully before ignoring them. Look closely at the date, check for a mint mark, and study the details of the design. Even coins that appear scratched, dusty, or worn could still hold surprising value if they belong to a rare variety. So the next time you come across an old wheat penny, especially one from the early 1950s, take a moment to look at it carefully. A small copper coin with the date 1952 and AD mint mark might not just be loose change. In rare cases, it could be a hidden treasure from American numismatic history that collectors would be willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to own. If you enjoyed this story and want more amazing facts about rare coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay connected. Your next fortune could already be in your pocket.